Life is like an onion. There are layers to this shit.
Yeah, just peel them back.
Just peel them back and you'll be very surprised with what you find. Hi everyone, my name is Tiana.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is WongaGyal, the podcast. Your favorite Caribbean food podcast. Right here, every other Wednesday. Oh yeah, we in here. Okay. If you're listening to this on the day that it actually premiered.
Today is what? March 31st?
Yeah, the day before Holy Thursday. We're about to go into Easter, you know.
So you guys already know what we need to talk about.
It's the WongaGyal Easter episode. Oh,
what was that for?
So, naturally, you know, Easter in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, in most places that are Christian, quote unquote Christian, Easter is a pretty big deal. A lot of people say that, you know, like Easter Sunday is that day where everybody and their mother go church. So honestly, and I do believe in the Western world-ish, I do think that there is some sort of statistic. I remember seeing it once that like Easter Sunday has the highest turnout.
Attendance rate.
Right. So obviously Easter means a lot to us as a people. So naturally, the food that we eat around Easter means a lot to us as a people. Duh, because what is life without food? What is a celebration without food? What is a holiday without food? Yeah.
What kind of food do you associate with Easter? Outside of bun and cheese, obviously.
Fish and bun and cheese.
Fish and bun and
that
cheese.
That is what I associate.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page, because you know usually it's some outlandish thing. I'm have to say, yo, take a point off of your name and all that.
I have some outlandish thing in here for you, but we'll get to that a little later. So we'll start off with Ashley kind of telling the people, like, what is Easter? Just in case you never know. Just in case you never go Sunday school.
Just a little history,
just
a little
in case
background.
You're not Christian, and that's okay.
That is fine. We don't discriminate here.
No. So, yeah.
It says here that Easter is a Christian holiday that celebrates the belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In the New Testament of the Bible, the event is said to have occurred 3 days after Jesus was crucified by the Romans and died in roughly 30 AD. The holiday concludes the Passion of Christ, which is a series of events and holidays that begins with Lent, something that we spoke about before, which is simply a 40-day period of fasting, prayer, and sacrifice, and ends with Holy Week, which includes Holy Thursday, tomorrow, Good Friday, on which Jesus' crucifixion is observed, and Easter Sunday. Although a holiday of high religious significance in the Christian faith, many traditions associated with Easter date back to pre-Christian pagan times.
Right.
And a lot of things that we have adopted, that comes from a place under the name pagan. You know, Christians go and chastise it because, you know, it's pagan holiday, or Babylon go and chant down pagan. Every time I say the word pagan, I remember Michael. He's like, burn out pagan, this pagan, that. But it's funny because I feel like even outside of the Christian rituals associated with Easter, everybody celebrates Easter in their own way, but not knowing where exactly it started. And based on, this is actually a reputable source. This is from, you know, like they have the History Channel. This is actually background from their findings, and it dates way back before Christian religion was a thing, so to speak.
And you know, that makes sense because people always ask the question, why Easter is different every year, why Easter, you know, because, you know, Christmas, everybody knows Christmas is December 25th. Everybody knows when Mother's Day is, everybody knows when Labor Day is, everybody knows when almost every other major holiday is. Why does Easter change? And this is how I knew that there had to be some hint to pre-Christian times, because the date of Easter actually is determined by the phase of the moon. Oh,
so here it actually says that the Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which adheres to the Julian calendar, Easter falls on a Sunday between April 4 and May 8 each year. So it spans over a very large period.
Yeah. So and I know it is largely dependent on when the full moon during that period is gonna come around,
which is actually next weekend.
Right.
That is funny. But then it's also very interesting because we did have a full moon before now.
Yeah. But I think it's I don't know the whole...
Is it the first full moon of the year and then after that, then the 40 days
I don't
start?
know the whole semantics of it exactly, but I just know that the date of Easter coincides with the fullness of a moon. Not sure what moon, not sure why the significance of the April date.
Okay.
But there is some sort of connection there.
So, funny enough that you'd mentioned that, I have something here that basically tries to explain why Easter is called Easter. It says, St. Bede the Venerable, the 6th century author of ecclesiastical history of the English people, maintains that the English word Easter comes from Ostre or Austrae, the Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and fertility.
Yeah. I know.
Other historians maintain the Easter derives from the albis, a Latin phrase that's plural for alba or dawn, that became estrom in Old High German, a precursor to the English language of today. So despite its significance as a Christian holy day, many of the traditions and symbols that play a key role in Easter's observances actually have roots in pagan celebrations, particularly pagan goddess Ostre, and in Jewish holiday of Passover.
Right. So, and this is something we'll come back to. We'll talk about it later on as well, with the significance of eggs in Easter.
I have that here too.
So Easter really is and I think that coincides with the whole full moon thing. It's like the goddess of fertility. The new moon is coming, the full moon is coming. And so I think,
and people, when you hear the fertility, it doesn't mean that you must abstain because you don't want to get pregnant. That's the word fertility has so many meanings to it, and it also is a word that people use is in the same context of spring. Because what does spring mean? You know, new life, new growth of trees and plants, and that's literally what fertility means. You know, better quality soil for planting and harvesting.
Yeah, and when it comes back to Jesus as well, fertility, I mean, is
his rebirth.
It's new life, right? So
wow,
it all comes circle. It all comes full circle. Yeah. So we kind of that's really what Easter is. That, like scraping the surface of what Easter.
There's
really
a lot
is.
more.
There's a lot more that you can read about, but we kind of just wanted to give everybody some context to what we're all gonna be talking about today. So if you listen to the first episode of season 2, that was all about Lent.
It was actually,
and of course we spoke a lot about the relationship between food and Lent. Because many Christians, many people who practice Christian faith do go into some sort of fasting for Lent that is representative of the 40 days and 40 nights that Jesus was in the desert, right?
Them sacrifice something.
So Easter now is the end of Lent. So you don't know so the food after in the thing, right?
Of course. As Good Friday come and gone.
Yeah.
God, me reach a KFC.
Yeah. And I feel like just being a Jamaican as well, food plays such a large part in our identity.
And even if it doesn't, we literally attach food to every single holiday.
Yeah. So just as we said earlier, there's the bun and cheese, there's the fish. You know, if you think about like Americans, well, I shouldn't even say only Americans because British people do it too. They have this association with eggs. You know, in America, everybody them have the little Easter bunny and the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah,
and
a lot of their Easter celebrations, just like how we center it around bun and cheese, they center it around Easter eggs.
Yeah, and so I find it so interesting that so many symbols of Easter are food. No, are food. Like not just that they exist, they're food. And you can find, because even when you think of like what's one of the biggest symbols of Easter? The cross.
Yes.
Hot cross buns. Food. We're back at food.
Hold on, no. Hold up. Yeah, we're gonna do that one more time.
Yeah, we're back at food.
The cross that represents crucifixion. What you say about bun?
Hot cross buns. Yeah, it's there. So
wow.
That leads us into, all right, so everybody knows that Christianity, you know, was developed in that side of the world. And we all know who brought it to this side of the world.
That part we know.
You know, the European people. So in Britain, in England, those places, right?
British, yeah.
So this is how Easter looks culturally for the British people. So you have hot cross buns on Good Friday.
Okay.
Right? because you are not supposed to light a fire before 12 noon.
So many denominations recognize that.
Right. And so they tend to have hot cross buns because, them can't bother with the cooking and nobody wants to cook late in the evening. So hot cross buns is like that thing on Good Friday. And actually, historically, you could only get hot cross buns on Good Friday.
That's crazy.
They were not available at any other time of the year. It was just for Good Friday. Right? And then now, Easter Sunday, you would have boiled eggs for breakfast, right? Okay. So this comes back to the relationship with eggs. And some people in some of my readings, they've said that eggs represent the tomb that Jesus was buried in. And then coming back to but of course that's a Christian meaning, because inside of an egg is life, right? So
funny you'd mention that. I want to say this before you move on, because this part mentions, it says, irrespective of denomination, there are many Easter time traditions with roots that can be traced to non-Christian and even pagan or non-religious celebrations. So they say, many non-Christians choose to observe these traditions while essentially ignoring the religious aspects of the celebration. And I feel like so many times, not only as Jamaicans, but we associate certain foods with certain holidays without realizing that you will say, oh, I'm not religious, but I have to eat one during during Easter. But then you don't realize that indirectly you are observing the religious meanings behind it. So it says examples of non-religious Easter traditions include Easter eggs and related games such as egg rolling and egg decoration. It's believed that eggs represented fertility and birth in certain pagan traditions that again predate Christianity.
Right. So it kind of intertwines, and
that's crazy.
What comes first, the chicken or the egg? It was actually the pagans and then Christianity.
Yo, they're gonna cancel us for saying that shit.
I'm so sorry, guys.
But it's true. There are so many things.
It's historically
This is probably
correct.
the third episode we've had that's linked to a holiday that has religion connected to it some way, some religious significance. And it went back to our Christmas episode. We spoke about the pagans. I'm sure we mentioned them in the Ash Wednesday episode as well. Back again with the pagans.
So, guys, Ashley and I were both raised in the Christian faith. But I believe both of us have kind of definitely dedicated our lives, I would say, to finding the meaning,
of course,
to other things. It doesn't end. Life is like an onion. There are layers to this shit.
Just peel them back.
Just peel them back, and you'll be very surprised with what you find. So, as Ashley said, eggs represent fertility and new life. Bada bing, when the Christians came in, they were like, you know what? It's still gonna represent new life, but it's just gonna be Jesus's new life. So and then of course, very, very popular in Britain are the cream eggs. I don't know if you've ever had a cream egg.
I've heard of it, but I've never had one.
Girl, I watched a documentary on them the other day. It is like one of funny enough, like I feel like I see cream eggs in Jamaica, but people don't go wild over cream eggs in Jamaica. Cream eggs are like a phenomenon in the UK. Like people buy boxes, like people will hoard cream eggs so they can have them all year round, because Cadbury does not make them all year round. Like there's this place in, I believe, somewhere, I don't know, let me not say I believe, I don't remember where it is. It was in the documentary. You know how them have like fried Twinkies and them thing there? There's this place that does fried cream eggs.
Oh my god, I did have a cream egg once. You know where I bought it? When Candy Craze just opened in Manor Park. It was actually during Easter time that I went for the first time.
You don't really see them when
and they had cream eggs at the cashier, and I took up one and I was like, okay, interested.
It's a big thing. But of course, coming back to, and funny enough, cream eggs were invented in 1870, so they've been around for a very long time. But just goes off of the whole egg thing, right? So that's breakfast. That's just breakfast, right?
Sunday.
Then for dinner, and this is what I was saying is gonna surprise you, because I feel like this is very different from Jamaican practices. Okay. For dinner, people have roast lamb, which is also the main dish of Jewish Passover. And it represents, roast lamb is representative of Jesus being the sacrificial lamb of God. So that's why they have roast
goosebumps.
lamb.
I love learning
Sunday.
new things. That is crazy. Yeah.
So that's why I love.
And when you think about it, it makes sense.
It makes sense. But for some reason, well, to be honest, I don't think lamb is very popular in Jamaica. We don't is it popular? Like, enough people eat lamb?
Yes.
I feel like lamb is expensive.
The meat itself, yeah, but I feel like most restaurants have it on the menu.
Yeah, restaurants have it on the menu, but I feel like
well, I've had it several times.
I feel like in
outside,
general,
so.
like lamb is not something that frequent my household.
Oh.
And I always was under the impression that lamb is expensive, so I never thought
I've
that
only
it
ever
was
had
super
a lamb
accessible.
as like, you know, lamb chops and stuff like that. But my father did have lamb on a farm.
Well, Ashley live on a farm.
So
Ashley's idea of accessibility is very skewed.
it's very different. So but yeah, I actually didn't know that lamb. I mean, I think I knew that it was expensive, but as it relates to scarcity, I don't know about all of that.
Well, I would like to think that the reason why it's expensive is because there's some sort of scarcity. Because, you know, supply and demand.
Yeah.
Who knows, though? Who knows? There could be some other reason as to why it's expensive.
That's true.
But whatever it is, my understanding is that lamb is expensive. And
I mean, it's expensive when you go to restaurants and see it on menus generally.
Right.
So no surprise there.
I would like to think then that if lamb is expensive, that's probably why roast lamb is just not a thing out here for Easter. Because
as like a household meal then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
No. Yeah. So
yeah, that lamb thing kind of shocked me, I ain't gonna lie.
So that's dinner. Then we got tea time, because you know the British are all about their tea.
They love them
the
tea.
British. So they have this thing called Seminal Cake. Stay with me here. So Seminal Cake, in it you have apricot jam, orange, lemon, marzipan. You know what marzipan is?
I don't think so.
That thing, that like almond flavored gum that then put on wedding cake.
Yes.
That is marzipan. And it has dried fruit as well.
But it sounds interesting and I'd like to
Right?
hear more.
No, but hear more. So Seminal Cake has 11 marzipan balls on top of it.
That's a little too much.
To represent the 11 disciples who did not betray Jesus.
Yo, they're gonna throw religion everywhere they can. Just go sprinkle a little bit over it. You get a little religion, you get a little religion. Let's just bring it back.
Them just left Judas off of it.
Hey, if it's one thing about the British people, them are gonna stay strong, firm in the Christianity, you know. Yo.
So yeah, so
them man, they have no qualms about the thing either. That is crazy.
Yeah. So in like seeing the definition of Seminal Cake, because I mean it has like orange and lemon and dried fruit and those things. So I didn't find a clear connection, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of connection between
the other ingredients
and like what we have as bun. Like there must be some sort of
dried fruit, especially
crossover kind of experimentation there.
It's funny because now that you bring up especially the dried fruit part of the cake, and since we're talking about Easter, I think it's so funny the debate that happens on social media every year about whether fruits belong in bun or not.
Girl, we don't reach the bun and cheese segment yet. You wait. I told you before. We'll have a nice little history lesson because my eyes open. Okay.
The third one is just
So before we get to bun and cheese, because I feel like that's probably the most controversial of everything we're going to talk about. So we just went through what British people tend to eat, right? And we kind of explained like why, I guess, some of the similarities and some of the differences. I think one of the biggest, as we said before, foods that Jamaicans eat for Easter, fish, right? And we said it before in the Lent podcast that, you know, a lot of people nowadays, them not really about the fasting life. So rather than fasting properly, they will just change
up the diet.
They'll give up like red meat, or what I saw a lot of articles calling warm-blooded animals.
Nice.
So that's why fish kind of became a thing, because the people would give up quote-unquote warm-blooded animals. And so
when the blood warm, it nicer.
Girl, no, but I really love fish.
Of course, no, trust me, but something about the warm blood.
Yeah, and so when you think about it, right? So we're talking before about lamb, and for whatever reason, lamb is not a very popular Easter food in Jamaica, but fish,
definitely.
We're on an island,
bare fish
in the middle of the
fishes
tropics.
are all year round, but let me tell you, Easter time, you know about fish.
Like it makes sense though, because it's like, think about it, in like other areas of the world, it's like winter time now, so the place kind of cold. But like down here, it warm.
It's funny because
so we
I've seen people literally eat bun and fish.
Yeah.
Like in one
Yeah.
bite. Like
Girl.
the fish and the bun exist in their mouth at the same time.
On the Mega Mart show that I was on,
Anyway.
Chris Daly was like how him like eat bun and fried fish. I was like, I've never seen that in my life.
And like they will slice the bun, like the spice bun, or even the one that you buy for Easter, and then put like a couple pieces of sprat on it.
People
make a sandwich,
eat like sardine and
make
bun.
a sandwich.
That wild.
Okay, that is a no.
That wild to me.
I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna intervene and say that is no.
But yeah, and I think it's so good because I think in general, and I think historically,
we shouldn't eat before we
shouldn't. There's always a spike in fish consumption within the Jamaican populace around Easter time, and I think it's good because fish is good, and I feel like people don't really eat fish on a regular.
I love fish any way you put it. Put it in front of me, I'm gonna eat it. Roast fish, jerk fish, steam fish, fry fish.
Yeah,
fry over, roast, boil fish. I'm gonna eat it.
But for some reason, it's not super popular every other day. I mean, every other time of the year. And you think about it, like we're in Jamaica, we're surrounded by water. You would think that fish would be
and obviously
the thing. But
Tiana and I know that we're the exceptions to people who will eat fish all year round, because Tiana and I will have days where we play hooky from work on like a Monday and just go down to Hellshire and spend like 3-4 hours there just eating fish all day. So we appreciate fish, and it's very obvious to us going down there at different times of the year. I think one time we went, it was July, we went one time in December, and we see the differences, you know, in the crowds and all of that. And I was there back in, I think, February, and it's the same observation, and you see that people not really flock to fish all throughout the year like we do.
They don't.
But Easter, fish can't find in the supermarket.
Yeah, fish can't find in the supermarket.
Market
KFC
wholesale.
Start sell fish sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, the island grilled fish sandwich is very nice.
Yeah, everywhere that is chicken and beef forward have a fish.
And I think, you know,
definitely
it plays a role, because they know that people have given up the warm-blooded meat for Lent. But I wonder if there is something else that pushes them to promote the fish eating during this time.
And that's how I was saying. I think it comes back to geography. I think it comes back to culture, because funny enough that you said that, I made a post on Instagram the other day bigging up Steakhouse on the Verandah's fish sandwich. They have a blackened snapper sandwich. Best fish sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Really? I should check it out.
So I was bigging it up, and it was during the Lenten time. I made a post during the Lenten season, and so in the caption, you know, I was just saying, anybody who is doing the fish thing, you should definitely check out Steakhouse. And somebody commented and was just like, where in the Bible does it say that you're supposed to eat fish for Easter? You're always
that one person
going off about how no, God did not prescribe us to eat fish for Easter. And I was like, and so? Like, if I want to eat fish for Easter, you can't tell me
I don't know why they would make that connection, simply because you mention people giving up food and just, you know, consuming more fish for Lent. Because that's not a new thing. As a human being who is well aware of society and societal norms, will know that living in Jamaica and being a part of a Jamaican society, the consumption of fish increases significantly during Lent.
Yep.
And you did not make any biblical reference.
This is all I'm saying. But anyways, I digress. But
girl,
yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised. It was aggressive, but I wouldn't be surprised if 1 year, who knows, there was a surplus of fish and somebody just decided to push it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how
it started.
But who knows? I don't know. I wasn't able to find anything, but that's just my hypothesis, and I think it's a fair hypothesis.
And definitely a Jamaican subculture.
Yeah. Fish and yam, fish and Easter.
All year round, to be honest.
Yeah.
Support the fish eating.
I'm
glad you mentioned the fish sandwich from Steakhouse. I think the best one I've had was from 100, actually. But it's more of a seasonal burger. So like a lot of times you'll go and they just don't have fish. But it's very nice. It's like a light, battered, deep fried fish. And it's very good.
Well, this one isn't battered.
Oh, it's because it's blackened fish. So obviously it's going to be a different flavor.
I'm going
to have to feature it and see what's going on.
It's bad.
It's 3 bills to the one at Island Grill though. Like $350 without the combo.
I'm yet to have.
And it's very nice. But it's a very nice fish sandwich.
I'll try it before
the bread
Easter
is nice.
So, Naturally. We just talked about fish. So now we're going to talk about bun and cheese. Cause
bun for eat.
Bun for eat. Bun for run.
Bun for eat. Bun for give. Bun for take. Just bun.
Bun for run.
Bun. Joseph get bun and look what happened. Jesus, Christianity, boom. Look at all of that. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
Look at us now.
So, bun and cheese. The infamous bun and cheese. You know what's funny?
You say if it's no funny, I'm gonna lick you.
In all my life, I thought that bun was like a Caribbean thing.
No.
Because I guess, you just assume that you have it in Jamaica, so why would another island not have it? And when I was in Trinidad, could I find any bun? I was very, very, very perturbed. Like Easter time, and I never ever get somebody who went to Jamaica Carnival had to bring me back bun. And I was like, crazy. This is crazy. What are they doing? They actually eat hot cross buns over there for Easter.
Because they're British, yeah? Colonization stand up strong over Trinidad.
Strong. It's still very strong.
Fight colonization.
Wow, yeah.
Find your own identity, Trinidad.
Yeah. It's funny to me because I was like, when I remember we had gone, because school, we were in school and we got a little holiday, a little vacation for the Easter, and I remember we went to like an Airbnb thing, and our Trini friends brought hot cross buns, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, not even in Jamaica. I would never. I don't even know. Like, I don't even eat hot cross bun like that. That honestly probably was my first time ever having a hot cross bun, to be honest.
It's crazy.
So bun and cheese actually comes from hot cross buns.
I'm not surprised.
That's where it comes from. Hot cross buns are very popular in Britain, and I'm gonna tell you how it relates back to the pagan thing.
Fun.
Because
I say if Michael can stop you, but
so a lot of people, especially nowadays, modern day people, will tell you that hot cross bun, the cross was representative of the cross, of the crucifixion, right? Actually, in pre-Christian times, the roundness of the hot cross bun was representative of the full moon, which is why I say Easter, the time changed because of the full moon, and the cross was to represent the 4 quarters of the year. So
that's crazy.
So the cross would cut the bun into 4 quarters. And that's what it was representative of. And then Christianity came around and said it was for Jesus.
So what you mean?
You see how things can change, though.
No, it's not things change. You say how Christianity be poaching cultures. But I'm again not surprised.
Remember we said culture is dynamic.
Yeah, so they just kind of take it and make it their own. And attach their own meaning to it. And you see, it's not necessarily poaching because they're not adapting it and saying, this is the meaning and we were the ones who came up with the meaning, but rather they curated their own meaning to fit their own agenda.
Yeah. That's really what it is. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. So apparently there was this saying with the hot cross buns. And I don't know. You tell me, Ashley. I feel like when I was younger, we never really like buy bun. Like I feel like
bun in my house.
Bun was meaning I feel like bun was always gifted. Like people just gave away bun.
Oh no, we used to always buy bun. Like because we were big bun givers in my house.
Exactly. Maybe that's
you hear that, gentleman? I'm a bun giver. Stop it. What was I saying? But yeah, my mother used to always. And she used to always buy like 3, 4, 5 box of bun, right?
To give away.
We would have like 2 or 3 in the house, and she'd always send a box to my grandmother, a box to my other grandmother. And anybody who come to the house, it's more like, and then she'd buy the smaller ones to give to like the workers and all of that. So but I do understand bun being given as gifts because when you're, especially in corporate Jamaica, you get a piece of bun and a small tasted tin cheese during Easter holiday. You get it from school because I'm sure them go ask me what kind of bun I want. So I do understand it being a gift because mommy used to also come home with them and be like, oh, somebody gave me this at the office.
Yes. So there's this idea of bun being shared among the community that you're in, right? And it actually comes from hot cross bun because there was a saying back in the olden days that said, half for you, half for me, between us two shall goodwill be. So gifting
That's so beautiful,
gifting someone a bun. Well, back then it was splitting the bun in two and giving it to your neighbor would kind of indicate, we'll have friendship going on.
Society would have been so much fairer and more calming if we did just always split one. Just half for you, half for me.
Between us two shall goodwill be.
Oh,
yeah.
cute.
So give people what you love, bun.
Yeah.
Give people what you love, bun.
I'm gonna put that on the card I'm sending to you for Easter. Half for you, half for me.
It strengthens the friendship in the coming years.
Of course.
Yeah.
Little bun for run.
Little bun for run. Yeah. So, alright. So, I couldn't have this episode without doing a deep dive into where the hell bun come from. Because I'm there thinking, okay, this is a Caribbean thing, but it's not a Caribbean thing, it's a Jamaican thing. So where the hell it come from?
And why HTB makes so much money during the Easter weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. And so what's funny enough, I think one of the big reasons why I thought it was like a Caribbean thing.
But before you go further, you know what just came to mind? The fact we have to make the distinction. Because in Jamaica, bun is different from Easter bun. Because I buy bun all year round. I love spice bun. The little round one, you just split that in half, put a little tasty triangle in the middle, lunch, you're good to go with a cold Pepsi. But you see, Easter time, if somebody come to your yard and you offer them bun and cheese, the bun that they expect is the one that you slice up with the little fruits in there.
So it wasn't always like that.
So that's why I said we have to make the distinction.
Right. It wasn't always like that. Bun, when it first started, was an Easter thing. As I said, once upon a time, bun was only served on Good Friday. No surprise. Out of the 360, how much? 365?
4 or 5, depending.
And a quarter day, there was one day that you could get bun.
One bun.
One day. And
Jano, you know, so that would have made society better if there's only one day out of the year dedicated to bun. We should revisit it. We're going to send an email to the office of the Prime Minister and talk about the bun consumption in Jamaica.
But yeah, so I feel like, alright, so whenever I see pictures of hot cross bun, right, and it is to me it just looks like a white sweet bun. And of course, everybody knows, if you don't know, in Jamaica, our bun is very brown, very dense.
Looks like a loaf.
Very
bunny.
Thick, right?
Is that thick body bun?
It's a thick body bun. We're never gonna let this go.
No.
And so I remember when I was younger, I don't know who told me, I don't know where I got this idea from, but somehow there was an idea planted in my brain. I don't know who planted it, but it's planted, that the reason why our bun looks the way it is because the enslaved use molasses rather than sugar. Have you ever heard that before?
As it relates to the color of the bun?
Yeah, as it relates to how our bun looks.
I don't think so.
I heard that, and for a while I was running with that because somebody told me, and I did.
You perhaps created your own reality.
No, I did not. I did not create it because I remember having a conversation and somebody telling me,
or somebody lied to you.
Somebody lied to me, obviously, because that is not true. And if you believe this, I'm here to tell you.
But it sounds like a plausible reason.
It sounds like a very plausible reason, which is why I believed it.
Because molasses go change the color anything that's it go in.
And maybe there is some sort of truth behind it, because back in the day people never used to really document things too proper, and so maybe there is some truth to it. But from what I was able to find, there was not any relation to the enslaved, as it relates to how bun came about. Well, what Jamaican Easter or spice bun.
Excuse me, oh God.
So, in the year 1870, hot cross buns were advertised to be available beginning at 5:30 a.m. on Good Friday at a bakery on Luke Lane in downtown Kingston. These buns in 1870 were said to be more spicy than the original hot cross bun coming out of England. Right? So we're dating back in the 1800s. Something did go on in the 1800s.
1870, that means trade slave had already been abolished.
Right. People are set up shop in a downtown.
Actually, slavery had been abolished by that time. Not just the trade, but slavery on a whole.
So that was 1870. In 1880, Phoenix Bakery offered what they call hot X buns. So they were deviating from the word hot cross buns because they were like, it's not the same as hot cross buns. But
that is what Trinidad should have done.
But I guess them never have like a proper name, I guess. So they just call it hot X buns. And the marketing for that was to those who like a real good north side hot spice bun.
Spice bun.
So as we can see, the word spice is coming in, right?
I know not spicy about the bun.
It's spicy in comparison to the hot cross bun them.
Well, yeah, because hot cross bun is different.
Hot cross bun is very sweet.
Yeah, if you can't eat a hot cross bun with the idea of what a bun is in your head, because it's gonna be very different.
Yeah. So, mind you, during the 1800s, the bun was still a circle.
Yes.
So it was very similar to what we now know as like spice bun, which is a differentiation that Ashley was saying earlier. So by 1960, so I don't know what the hell went on between 1880 and 1960, but things were going on.
World War.
Things, right? Things that are going.
Great Depression.
There you go.
I think. I don't know.
By 1960, the hot cross bun had fully been accepted now as a loaf rather than a circle.
So what pushed the change?
So it now adopted
the loaf look.
The loaf look. I'm not sure what adopted that change.
Gaps in the research.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything.
This is what we would cite as limitations.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe people were just cooking more for themselves, or
cooking to be shared, because a loaf can share more than the
That's
round.
true, than the round, and yeah.
I know we're a community of sharers.
If you cut a loaf, you can say, take this piece and it's fine. But if you cut piece of a circle, it's like stingy.
You know, and it throws off the sharing for everybody else. Unless you go cut it like a pie, which is weird.
Yeah. So that's the 1960s, right? In 1963, Leila Brandon publishes a cookbook with the recipe for Easter spiced bun. So this is the first time in the history of bun that anything is being referred to as Easter spiced bun in 1963. It was not very far from the original hot cross bun recipe though. It had milk, water, butter, sugar, salt, cinnamon, mixed spice, which is like clove and anise and them thing there, egg, flour, yeast, cherries, raisins, and citron.
Okay.
So, may I tell Uno, fruits was always in the bun. Okay. Alright. So that's 1963.
Hear that?
That's 1963. At this point, the bun still was not super dark, is my understanding. Okay. It was browner than a hot cross bun, but not...
Because the ingredients don't sound like it could have put any browning in there, unless them put browning in
there. Then we have come 1993, where Enid Donaldson, and everybody know this Enid Donaldson cookbook because every grandmother have it in them house. Enid Donaldson.
Yo, my uncle used to tell me that a woman who cook out a book can't cook, so I never have no cookbook. He said she can't cook if she look out a book.
God. Well, Enid Donaldson came out with her cookbook in 1993, and she gave not one, not two, not three, but 4 recipes for Easter
So what Enid is trying to say is that I'm not sure which one you're going to like, so we're going to try all 4 of them.
She gave 4 recipes for Easter bun. 1 with baking soda, 1 with baking powder, 1 with yeast, and 1 with stout. And stout is the one that stuck with the people. So stout is what we know to be that Easter bun flavor now. So along with the spices, people add stout to the bun.
That's crazy.
Right? And then in 1995, Jamaica Flour Mills published the recipe for a traditional, rich, moist, fruity Easter bun that involved soaking raisins, currants, and mixed peel in stout, and it also included honey and browning. So by 1995, that's when bun reached its final form because
we were born.
Yes. So you're adding the stout, you're adding the browning, you're adding the fruits, you're adding the spices.
And that is how life comes full circle.
Yes, that is how life comes full circle. So yeah, so the bun that Jamaica Flour Mills put out in 1995 is what is really, really popularly known as bun today.
Okay.
I say all of this to say, for all the people who don't like fruits in the bun,
You're wrong.
you're wrong. Because bun did always have fruit. And you know why they started making bun without fruit? Because there was a fruit shortage one year. And they had
Supposed to always have fruits where you don't eat the bun. Look at that.
Shame on you.
No, but trust me, Easter bun, and I say Easter bun just to, differentiate between bun and spice bun. It tastes better. It tastes like
it has love in it.
It tastes like this is something that I'm eating that is more than a quick lunch when I don't have time. Because to me, spice bun is something that I either eat between meals or something that I eat as a quick lunch because I don't have time to do anything else. And I love it for what it is. Like, I think it's fabulous. And you can only eat it with a thick slice of Tastee cheese, right?
Yeah.
But you see, the bun with the fruits in there, where you have to take the time out, where you have to slice it and put it in a saucer and put the cheese on top, and that's love.
I don't care. Ashley and I stand fruits in our
fruits
bun.
In bun.
Fruits for that in a bun.
The
you
bun
know
nicer
why?
with little fruits.
Because
little sweetness.
Fruits supposed to that in the bun.
Simple. There's no other explanation. It belongs. It was always in the recipe.
All right.
There was no bun without fruits.
All right.
So the next time you give bun, give fruits too.
But what is the greatest mystery of this entire bun and cheese saga? Nobody knows where or why or who or how put the cheese in the bun.
Because it tastes good.
But no, there's no.
Who started it?
Actually, there is no documentation, and literally,
I bet Tastee did it as a marketing campaign. Them see how much bun sell during Easter.
Actually,
and them say, watch a style, yeah.
by 1928, stores were offering Easter cheese along with the purchase of Kraft bun. So it wasn't Tastee because the first cheese. I don't know if Tastee existed back then, but the first cheese that was being paired with Easter bun was actually Kraft cheese. So the sliced cheese.
Interesting. Ew.
Yeah.
I think sliced cheese and bun is nasty. Gross. It's a disservice to your taste buds.
Gross. But that is what. So we know that in 1928 the supermarkets were pushing this.
Oh, Tastee started manufacturing cheese in 1968.
There we go. So bun and cheese did exist before Tastee existed. So
interesting.
Bun and cheese was a thing. Obviously, I would like to say probably sometime in the late 1800s, somebody decided to put it together, maybe early 1900s, because if the supermarkets were pushing like these bun and cheese bundles in 1928, that means people did eat it from before. Right?
So who started it? Who was the first person who put a piece of bun between?
Know.
But thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you. You should be
awarded
a national hero.
A national hero. You should be awarded by the Prime Minister or the governor, whoever is the governor.
Even if not a national hero, them should have a little medal.
Yeah, there's a little one. Pan heroes, you get one.
Yeah, I'm not lie. You did a great service for this country, and I remember, I'm not gonna lie, I remember when I was at school in New York and Easter was coming, and my mother would send me a bun and cheese every year for Easter. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Big up.
She would send me a bun and cheese, and I remember one year I was so excited to share it with my friends because I was like, I know these Americans don't know anything about bun and cheese because obviously it's a Jamaican thing. And so I got my bun, I got my cheese, and I was like, I'm gonna share it with my friends.
Excited.
I was excited. They were not.
Uncultured. Never know good things.
They saw the color of the Tastee cheese and they were like, why is it so orange? That's unnatural. And you know what's funny? I never thought of it as unnatural
because is that what grew up
but
with?
Then I realized,
funny enough you'd mention that because I was just reading what is in the Tastee cheese.
It is processed. It says it. Tastee processed cheese.
So according to TasteeCheese.com, aka Tastee Jamaica, Tastee cheese is made with the highest quality ingredients and our manufacturing is guided by our internationally certified food safety management system, FSSC 22000. What that mean?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what is in Tastee cheese.
Yo, Tastee, slide in my DMs and come talk to me. I can tell you,
no Jamaican had ever questioned what was in Tastee cheese. I never questioned it.
It tastes good. It tastes good.
I never questioned it until my foreign friends were like, what the hell are you eating, girl?
Whatever FSSC 22000 mean, I'm still like eat it.
But yeah.
We're the only company in Jamaica and the Caribbean that manufactures a processed cheese in a can that is uniquely made for the Jamaican and Caribbean palate.
You know what annoys me about Tastee cheese? When it come in the tin, you take it out.
Yes,
I have never
if
successfully taken out a cheese.
If you buy the big one, which is the cylinder,
who is buying the big one? Ashley?
My parents used to. My parents used to buy a whole bunch. It's this tripping them to have, and my father said all the time, if him never have a farm, him couldn't feed me because we just eat so much. But like my mother used to buy the big cylinder, and you'd have to literally lift up the tin top. Like you have to kind of bend it round in a sense and lift up the entire thing, turn it over, take it out, and there was a plastic that was wrapped around it. And what they used to do, instead of buying individual, so if it says that they're giving people the small bun, you could have just cut up the big tin into like big triangles. And then puts in plastic, give it to them.
Well, actually,
but the one with, if it's a flat one, you just lift up the top and cut it out.
The flat one is easy. The one in the plastic is very easy because plastic is flexible.
But just because I see my father take it out of the tin before.
Actually, you know how like people will say how they're not an adult because they can't peel orange. This is how I felt with the cheese. I was like, because my mother, obviously, it was me alone that was eating buns, so she sent me the smallest tin that they have. And the smallest thing, you can't just turn it over and it come out for whatever reason.
You have to beat it up.
Actually, I felt like I was going mad trying to get this cheese out, and I don't even think I got a decent slice out of it. It was just crummy the whole time. And I was just like,
taste like cheese?
Clearly, I'm not ready to be an adult.
Did it taste like cheese? So what is the problem?
I just wanted.
Are we saying that the tins or that Tastee are producing are not user friendly?
They're not.
Okay.
They're not. I'm sorry about that, Tastee.
Tastee marketing, link up. Let's talk about it.
I love you guys, but something
operations. Let's link up.
Something about your product design. Boy.
I think they did away with the really big tins from, because I have not seen them for years.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're only for export. The long and short of it is, bun for run, fish also for run.
Bun for give, bun for get, bun for eat, everything. I even eat bun with butter. It tastes nice.
I actually have too much bun at my house right now because
really I don't get one.
We bought a bun and then I did a collab with Maxfield Bakery.
Fun.
So
who would you say is your favorite brand that you've had?
I would say HTB, but I feel like I say HTB because I'm uncultured. I haven't tried all the buns that there are out there. So
the best one I've had is definitely Miss Birdie.
Really? I think I had Miss Birdie once and I never really liked it.
I don't know why people have had bad experience. Somebody tell me some Miss Birdie bun dry and I was just like, did you get an expired one?
The one time I had I will say the one time I had a Miss Birdie bun, it was in foreign. So I would not be surprised.
Oh yeah, it got you too much things to reach
being
you.
in the cargo and then in the AC and them thing there in a foreign must dry out the bun.
I've had fresh out the oven. Birdie bun. It's quality, but Miss Birdie is quality.
Miss Birdie in general is quality.
Big on Miss Birdie.
But yeah, guys, tell us how you feel about, what do you eat around Easter time? How do you feel about bun? How do you feel about fish?
How do you feel about Christianity and a pagan holiday?
Oh. That's the tea. Alright, guys, thanks for listening. As usual, wear your mask, social distance.
Hey, Andrew's starting to find people now.
Yeah,
y'all need to do
me,
better.
I gonna left you right now before Andrew find me.
Yeah.
So I get home before this curfew right now. Alright, thank you guys for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
And happy Easter.
Happy Easter, happy Easter. Oh yeah.